I bring you greetings in the matchless name of my Lord God and soon coming Savior, Jesus Christ. Hello, this is the Reverend Bob Lico, the Lord's honey badger himself, the clown prince of the divine court, if you will. Having more fun than, indeed, a human being ought to be allowed to have. But God has been merciful to me, and not only does he show me the serious and the sober things that are happening in the world, he has allowed me to have a bizarre, twisted sense of humor that can laugh and enjoy all of the absurdities of life as well. And so let me just bring you some actual headlines taken from the news of this month so far. And we're just not quite through June yet. Let's take a look at just a few of these. It's good to laugh. A merry heart, the Bible says, doeth good like a medicine. Drink monkey milk to save the planet. Yes, this is a real article. But no, the simian in the photograph is not holding up a real carton of monkey milk. If you go on to read the article in the Israeli Times, I believe, the Jewish press, it is an article really about PETA and PETA's complaint of a company that uses monkeys to pick coconuts to make coconut milk. The human beings can apparently only pick approximately 60 coconuts an hour, where the monkeys can pick over 100 in the same period of time. So chimp smart that the company's owners are went ahead and got a bunch of monkeys to do their picking. And so PETA found out about this and they're not very happy about it. But I think that title is great because I've seen so many recent titles and I've reported on them on the Honey Badger Bob YouTube channel regarding oat milk and hemp milk and all different types of milk, everything but cow milk. And that you'll see there at the bottom, that is a legitimate bottle of camel's milk. You can buy camel milk online. You can buy powdered camel's milk. You can buy it by the case. And as I like to note, camel's milk apparently tastes great and is less filling. Good. Have you heard of this? Another headline. Pea cycling. Donating your urine to farmers help feed the world. So there is a big push, I suppose, going on now around the country and perhaps around the world. This is an article from The Guardian, so I must only believe this is taking off. I know in Great Britain. I know this is taking place in my hometown, the town of my birth, Ann Arbor, Michigan, where they are peeing on peonies at the University of Michigan, the university that I matriculated from, one of the several schools of higher education that I've attended and been accredited by. Well, as I worked at U of M, one of my bosses, I remembered this, had a plaque on his desk that read, "Better to be pissed off than pissed on." That's sage advice coming from a former director of food services, Michael Crabb. I haven't seen the musical, but it may come to a town near you. Urinetown, the musical. Now, I don't know, that's kind of a catchy, you could do a lot with the word urine. And I assume you're in town? Or is it urine town? Or is that just a clever double entendre? How about the other one? Urination. Huh? Clever. Clever, stopping a guy there, probably at some beer tent festival. "Hey, pal, what are you going to do with that pee?" "I got to pee, man. I've been waiting for 10 minutes. Can I give you this?" "Man, get out of the way. It's better to be pissed off than pissed on, pal. But step aside. I'm not playing." Yes, become a peace cycler. Now, I have a bicycle. I'm a bicycler. Never ridden a unicycle, at least not successfully as I remember. But you, and even you in the back there, I see that one hand. You can become a peace cycler. Why are they doing this? Well, they're doing this, guys, because of the 5 times cost increase of some fertilizers, the availability or non-availability of fertilizer, period, in many areas, crops that are dying, and quite honestly, urine can be used as fertilization, as can human dung. It is got to be processed, at least the human solid waste needs to be processed for approximately a year and broken down before it can be used. But it has been used for millennia, and we're turning back to it because we're such an advanced golden age of mankind right now and of culture. We are the zenith of all creation. And in fact, I have another headline down here. The golden, did you see how I did that in yellow? I just felt that was appropriate, guys. Come on, lighten up. The golden fountain. Is urine the miracle drug no one told you about? No, it's not the miracle drug that the elite have been keeping from you. Now that's fine. If Kim Kardashian and Bill Gates want to sit in the corner and drink their own piss, that's their business. In the Bible, that was considered a curse and a sign of judgment and of oncoming captivity. In fact, as before Judah fell, the emissary, I believe, from the north said that they would they would drink their own piss and eat their own dung before it was all over. And hey, guess what happened? They did, right before they went into captivity. But peace cycling. Maybe you can start something in your town. Go to the bars. If you've got a college in town, that's great. Because not only can you go to all of the bars and start setting up, they actually have little pee collecting things that you could collect the urine in. And you could begin in the bars. Then I would hit the sororities, definitely the fraternities. Hit any sports stadium or musical event, hockey arena, any arenas. And frankly, you could put them in porta potties as they've got in the illustration and put them out for the homeless or whoever. And just whoever just is walking by and wants to make a donation. Notice this is free of charge. Now you get to give your urine away and the farmer gets to use it and make money with it. He's going to take your pee-pee, put it on his crops and going to make super pee-pee powered plants. Don't say that very fast 3 times. It's not as easy as it sounds. Leave it to me, the trained professional, to say pee-pee powered plants. Become a peace cycler. Start one in your town today. Don't delay. Here's another one I find very important, especially now due to the global tragedy of the highly pathogenic avian bird flu, which has caused the death of over 40 plus million chickens, turkeys, ducks, quail, geese, and wild birds around the world. And the Pluralist has a heads up for all of you chicken lovers. And this is a real headline. These are all genuine headlines. I give you the authors so you can go and look at the Pluralist. Don't get amorous with your chickens, you freaks. When are you going to learn? Actually, what's going on, besides the small percentage of very freaky people, is that there is a lot of salmonella going around the world, and there is a lot that has been traced back to people that have chickens in their backyards. Now, I don't really know how bad the salmonella cases are. In other words, I don't know how many there are. I've seen some headlines. But I have to also be very suspicious of those headlines because I know that those behind the curtain are not only killing off all the chickens, which I've been reporting on, but also do not want you to raise your own chickens. They don't want you to eat chickens at all. They want you to eat plant-based, cell-based, and insect-based foods. So when they mean don't get amorous, they're not talking about doing the nasty with your chicken, although there are some. They're talking about people, especially children, who make pets out of their backyard chickens. Pick them up, then cuddle them, and chickens are fairly intelligent birds, and they apparently can be rather friendly. But the kids pick them up, and then they touch their faces, pick their nose, eat their food, don't wash their hands, etc., etc. And so they do carry salmonella, and so people get it. That's what they're talking about. But I just thought it was very humorous, especially in light of these sad and sick articles that I've covered, warning people not to get amorous with your chickens. And I did include Jungle Love as a clip. I don't know if it's going to play or not, but if it does, please enjoy the song by Stevie Guitar Miller. Next advice comes from the CDC, and it is safe sex advice in new monkeypox guidance from experts amid the UK outbreak. Now, very important to understand that although monkeypox, whose name will be changed very soon, probably next week, but right now I'm still old school, I'm still calling it monkeypox. Now we know, according to what they're telling us, that monkeypox is not a sexually transmitted disease. But nonetheless, in this age of great clarity, they want to give us safe sex advice regarding a non-sexually transmitted disease for some strange reason. All right. We're all ears. And this comes from their manual, and I've added a few comments on number 4 and number 5. But number 1 is keep your clothes on at all times. Well, that's going to make for very interesting sexual activity. I won't allow my mind to even attempt to think what that would be. But keep your clothes on at all times. Now you find somebody you want to fornicate with, male or female or Confucianite, their advice that they're handing out to sentient adults is this: masturbate at least 6 feet away from the other, and I put the word fornicator, they'd say that your partner, but your partner happens to be a fornicator. So you're supposed to pleasure yourself 6 feet away with your clothes on, I guess while talking dirty, or maybe the other fornicator 6 feet away can disrobe. Maybe they can. No, I think both parties are supposed to keep their clothes on at all times. This is very confusing. You see, folks, this leads to number 3, which is guys or gals or growls. Why don't you just consider virtual sex with your partner? That's where you're, I guess, on the phone or at home on the webcam, and they're at their home or hotel, or maybe you're in hotel room 101 and they're in room 102, and you, I guess, could then take your clothes off. They didn't really go into a lot of detail, but I'm assuming virtual sex is probably safe. I don't know. I don't practice that. Well, that's some more advice. And the 4th advice is, of course, before engaging in any type of sexual activity with people you don't know, especially, and maybe those that you know kind of, a little, sort of, maybe that little something on the side, your friend with benefits like chlamydia and gonorrhea and herpes and AIDS, You're to talk about any sores, rashes, diseases that you or the other potential victim may have had in the past. Your past sexual history, it's important. Let's not hide our conquests under a basket of shame. B, maybe currently being treated for. Or C, your results have not come back from the clinic yet. These are things you should talk about. What you've done in the past with who and how. And are you currently being treated for the dripping creech or something? You should tell people this. Like, well, I am taking Valtrax for my herpes outbreak, but the sores are not running right now, so if you're really careful and keep your clothes on and stay away from me 6 feet and don't get anything on me, you should be okay. And of course, number C, you should tell people if your results have not come back from the clinic. Hey, now, we should wait another day. It might come tomorrow. I'm check my email. I don't know. I had a rash. I had a sore. It hurt when I pee-pee. I don't know. It stings back there. I've got a funky smell. I got an itch. I don't know. Well, yeah, you should talk to people. And then, of course, their last advice is to party on, to play safe, and by all means, to have fun. How about this for safe sex advice in this age of monkeypox? In fact, this is good advice throughout the recorded history of man. Have sexual relations only with the man or woman you are rightfully married to, and remain faithful to that spouse all of your life, and enjoy all of the beauty and glory and intimacy and pleasure and spirituality and everything else that comes in on the godly one flesh union. The one advice that the CDC does not give is to simply abstain, to say no to sexual desire. You would think in the world that is the most impossible and ludicrous thing that you could ever say, honey badger, is to say to an individual today, restrain your sexual desires. Why, not only is that folly, it's impossible. Well, let's go on to another headline. This was it. What happens if you eat dog food? Look it up at News Patrolling, a legitimate, real article. Well, I put down some of the headlines from it. I believe, number one, what will happen if you eat dog food? Number one, you will suddenly want to hump strangers' legs. It's a rather disturbing habit that male dogs in particular have. They just want to be friendly with everybody. And I don't know. Today's culture, if you identify with being a dog and go up and start humping some man or woman's leg, I suppose they have to accept that. They not only tolerate but accept it, and I guess pat you on the head and say, good boy, which brings us to number two. If you're eating dog food and kibbles and bits, you will begin to wonder if you are in fact a good boy a lot of the time. In fact, it'll almost become a besetting thought. It's like getting the Barney song caught in your head. It will become a brain worm, an earworm. Am I a good boy? Even if you're a girl. See, that's the danger. That today, those thoughts come to both genders. And it's the same question and causes much the same concern in both boys and girls. Am I a good boy? Who's a good boy? Well, gee, I thought I was a girl. Maybe I'm not. Well, and lastly, eventually you're going to be caught. The family, neighbors, mailman, if not humping his leg, you will be caught scooting your butt across the carpet for some odd reason. Strange, your tongue hanging out, and a very bizarre look on your face. I don't understand the behavior. I've owned dogs in the past, so I've noted the behavior, all of these behaviors. In fact, in dogs that we've owned, we are cat owners right now and are sticking to our two most beautiful and godlike creations. Well, we got a couple pictures. Here's a guy eating right out of the pedigree can. What happens if you eat dog food? And the other guy's eating the dry dog food, but he didn't know this. It makes its own gravy. Who knew? And his poor little French bulldog there is like, oh man, master's eating my food again. Well, I'm not going to spoil it, but I will tell you this much. If you eat dog food, please bulk up on your vitamin C, because dog food does not contain vitamin C. Dogs generate in themselves more than enough vitamin C, so they don't get it from their food. You humane, you have got to add vitamin C to your dog food, all right? It can be liquid, powder, or pill, gel cap, enema, I don't care. You've got to take your vitamin C if you're going to eat dog food. Here's another one. Aspire Food Group completes production of manufacturing facility in Canada. Woo-hoo-hoo. Do you know that since 2020 to the middle of this year, 2022, now we have the grand total of 200 food processing plants destroyed across the country and world. In 2 years, 200 plants, we've had 97 of them thus far this year, and we're only in June. But up in Canada, they're building new plants. And Aspire Food Group has completed a huge plant, and here's what it will do. Aspire's new plant will reportedly produce 900 metric tons of crickets every year for human and pet consumption. 900 metric tons. That's a lot of cricket meal, folks. And there's a picture of a bug cookie. You can buy those, and they look pretty much like that. But what made me sad and sickens me is I have fond memories of Jiminy Cricket. And he's gone now. You might be gone, Jiminy, but you're not forgotten. You're not forgotten, man. You were way too young to die, to turn into some cookie that the Cookie Monster probably would eat and puke up. Look at this, 900 metric tons of crickets per year. What do they have planned for humanity? I've covered this in other presentations. I really encourage you to watch the serious ones. Another bug one. I've covered this headline, but I think it ties in here. You will eat bugs and be happy? Wales, the country of Wales, now feeding school children mealworms and crickets for lunch. Here is a can of mealworms. And Gentovida packages and sales. You can go right on Google and you can get roasted mealworms. They're good for you and good for the planet. And I made this promise for them. We promise no more loose stools. Isn't that good news, parents? You feed your kids enough bugs and their poop will change, I can promise you. You will eat bugs and be happy. Wales now feeding school children mealworms and crickets. What is the world coming to? Well, apparently, plant-based foods, cell-based foods, and insect-based foods. Well, I know where Wales can get all the crickets they're going to need. up to 900 metric tons worth from Canada alone. In this one factory alone. Oh, I'm sure there'll be factories like this all over the place, getting on and getting in while the market is hot. Wabbit season. Wabbit pox. The story of a Petoli Kiwa. Forbes magazine. I would encourage you to watch the Honey Badger Bob presentation entitled Bye Bunnies on this very channel, the YouTube channel, Honey Badger Bob. Like, share, and subscribe, people. Wake up. Support the channel. And I want you to notice those 3 illustrations that were drawn by people who saw rabbits in action. I mean, we have this idea that rabbits are just very cute and cuddly. They're killers. I'm telling you. We had a Belgian hare growing up, Jacques the rabbit. I talked about Jackie in Bye Bunnies. Look, the one's got a meat cleaver, a bloody meat cleaver, an axe, a machete, a bloody machete. And there's Bugs. Does he look bothered? He's facing down a double barrel, probably 10 gauge from the looks of it, from the size of Elmer's hand. I'd say it's a 10 gauge. He's not a bit concerned. And in fact, if you'll go back and watch those documentaries on Bugs Bunny and the farmer, the humble farmer, Elmer Fudd. Okay, Elmer was a drunk. You can tell by the red nose. He had a drinking issue, but he never drank and handled firearms at the same time. He wasn't a very good shot. He never actually got to kill Bugs, but that shows how wily and how cunning rabbits are. And in fact, that other documentary that was done, I believe, on the Crusades, it was Monty Python, I believe it was something, and the Holy Grail, yes. And I believe they had to get the holy hand grenade to deal with the killer bunny. So don't come under any type of illusion that they're cute and cuddly. But right now, it's a bad time to be a bunny, because they're being killed all over the world due to a bunny Ebola. Watch Bye Bunnies for the facts. And last but not least, is Bill Gates behind the production of fake breast milk and other alternative foods? Well, folks, I had to include this picture. That is an illustration, apparently, of the world's largest fake boobs. Fake breasts were bad enough, but now, fake breast milk? And if my little clip plays, you will be hearing the end of Apocalypse Now. I like my little guy there, Breastfeeding 101, insert boob here. I am a tremendous supporter of women feeding their own infants. God has equipped the female human being marvelously. The Bible speaks quite a bit about breast milk. In fact, milking out, just go and do your own little study. It's quite enjoyable. The Bible is filled with this. God created women the way he did, to take care and to nurture their children in a most intimate and bonding way. And now Bill Gates, yeah, he is behind this, and others, trying to take women totally out of the equation. Just as they're taking cows and chickens and pork and fish and everything else out of the equation, we will give you a substitute for the genuine article, which we claim will be better, cheaper, blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't know why they need to create fake breast milk. Every woman that has children generally has 2 breasts. And the vast majority of these women are more than capable of breastfeeding their children. If not, there are wet nurses. There are organizations of other women around. There are, in fact, breast milk banks where I guess women that need it can get milk, actual human milk. I don't understand why there would be a need for fake breast milk. The only, honestly, serious, sober-minded thing I can say about that is perhaps Gates is seeing a time when what human beings, and women in particular, can produce via lactation will be so poisonous and non-nutritious that you can't feed your child that way. It will harm your child. So you've got to use the formula. You've got to get on the fake stuff. You've got to spend your money. Look where the women are today that had kids and have got them on formula right away, never breastfed them for the vast majority of these women. And all of a sudden the formula's gone and they are panicking. They should have been breastfeeding from the beginning. Well, Bob, you don't understand. You're not a woman. No, I'm not. But I have a wife and we've had a daughter. And yeah, I understand the process. And yeah, it does work, folks. Yeah, everything under normal circumstances. And people say, well, today women work. Yeah, well, you can express your milk and you can save it, put it away, leave it in a bottle for your husband to feed the child later. Lots of things you can do. So I don't understand. But yes, Bill Gates is behind this and other alternative foods. He's behind making this fake breast milk, and then what happens? All of a sudden, baby formula can't be found, pushing up the need for his new product. Well, I just find these rather humorous. I mean, on one level, you could look at them all and think they're very, very serious, and they can be taken very seriously, but I have to laugh at this stuff. I mean, the world literally, as I did in the production from yesterday, presentation called "The World is Going to Hell in a Handbasket," and it most certainly is. Just reading the headlines from the day's papers all over the world, I challenge people to prove me wrong. Have a great weekend and take time to chuckle and laugh at yourself, if nothing else, and most certainly the devil and this foolish, foolish world system.